I saw a woman in Australia. She's missing. She embezzled. She's accused of embezzling millions and millions of dollars. This was a story today, and they found her foot hundreds of miles from where she lives. They've been looking for her, and the police think she cut off her own foot to make them think she was dead because they think she's on the run from embezzling this money.
Smart.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is she? Are we sure that they're sure that this is her foot?
They did say it was her foot. It was in an Asics shoe. And
If you've not seen The Big Lebowski, you want a toe? I can get you a toe.
Is that what they?
I can put,
well, maybe.
I can put whatever color you want on the nail.
I haven't seen it, so is that what they do? They do a
Well, a toe plays a key part.
okay in the Big Lebowski.
I have told you when many, many years ago in my early 20s,
Yeah.
when I was about to be evicted in deep financial crisis.
Right.
When I was working at the pizza place, the first pizza place.
Yeah.
Every year they sent out a form that told you how much you would get if you lost a finger or a toe.
Yeah.
And I was really considering losing my big toe for $3,200.
Not the big one.
Not the, but you couldn't get the big.
That's the captain
toe?
of
That
the
was
toes.
yeah, but the pinky you only got like $1,800.
That's not enough.
That wasn't going to make a dent in my situation.
What was the price difference between pinky finger or big toe?
Fingers were a lot. You got a lot of money for a finger.
I can't believe they itemized it.
That's the pop.
It's almost like daring your employees. to
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
It was in the employee. It was in the employee handbook. I'll never forget.
It's a one-time payout.
Okay.
It was. It was a
pretty
one-time
good.
payout. But fingers were. I mean, you got thousands for fingers. But I remember thinking, like, I don't want to lose a finger. But if I could somehow, get my toe into the vegetable slicer.
Well, what would you say?
Wait, does it have to happen at work?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got to be in the store.
Oh,
at work.
okay.
Yeah.
What would you say your toe was doing in the vegetable slicer? That does seem odd.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have
Cleaning
to,
it?
Yeah. I think more what you'd have to do, and me and several people talked about this for a long time. I think what you'd almost have to do is have something fall on your toe and crush it. So that, and then they'd have to say, well, there's nothing we can do. We're going to have to remove your toe.
Yes.
It was the tomato paste.
You're right.
Yeah.
You'd have to drop a big.
You'd
drum
have to drop like a whole case of sauce.
You're
onto
right. Onto your toe.
But then what we were talking about was you risk it landing on your foot and breaking your foot, and then it's a whole thing.
Then you're
and then you're out of work.
Yeah.
You really just need to lose that toe.
It's quick with one of those pizza
Yeah.
slicer machete. One of those things you
Yeah,
slice
the pizza rocker.
Yeah, that's what's got to get it.
Yeah.
Woo! Would you
It
rather,
fell out of the dishwasher, sir.
right on?
Yeah, right onto it.
Would you rather lose your pinky finger or your big toe? I'd rather lose the pinky finger.
Oh, really? No, I'd go big toe.
I think you need that.
I do too. The big toe.
Yeah, but
balances you out.
My thing is, like I had.
You're right. Big toe.
Let me say this.
Now, your biggie.
Yeah. Okay. Which would you rather?
Growing up, we had a family friend who had lost two halves of his fingers, his pinky and his ring finger. And when we would go play golf, of course, people would see it constantly questions. I feel like if you lose your big toe,
Nobody knows.
yeah, you can't pivot as well.
Right.
But you're not going to get the questions that if people constantly see you miss. How'd you lose your pinky? How'd you lose your pinky? How'd you lose your pinky?
Well, I don't know because now I believe I've told you that I knew one person, my teacher, Ms. Qualls, my Glee Club teacher.
Right.
I was very close to her, and she was missing her toe, her big toe, and she always walked with a little bit of a hop almost, and that was why. And she would wear like open-toed sandals.
She's just asking for it.
She
then.
did. Even and we were 7th, 8th grade,
Yeah.
And so one day,
What is that?
Freaky.
well, she told us the story.
Gross.
What was it? Lawnmower?
No, bicycle. She was riding a bicycle. Her brother got a bicycle, and she was on the back holding onto him, and it got into the chain. Her toe was.
Yep. Spokes and chains, man.
It was the chain.
They removed a lot of toenails and toes.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s and
Oh,
70s.
that just makes me hurt. It makes me cringe to think about it. But her balance, she told us her balance was never quite right after that. So
How would you rate Biggie's balance now with all 10?
Miss Qualls was better.
How would you rate Biggie's gait?
Miss Qualls was faster. That's all
Remember,
I
he's got all 10.
So I'd say
He's playing with a full deck.
I think you could lose a pinky finger and go right on. I don't think there's much.
You could.
of a
It's
pinky
visible,
finger.
though. I mean,
It's
a
visible.
foot-
That's more what I'm thinking. It is visible.
It is.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, I'll give you that. But you could fashion something. We watch Handmaid's Tale. A woman has her pinky finger removed, intentionally. because she did something against the master of the house. So they removed, and then she has to wear like a little gloved type thing to make it look like she's still got
Yeah,
the
but
thing.
you don't get the flexibility.
No. That's true. That's for sure. David, you're talking about the value of limbs. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's actually a benefit that most employers offer called accidental death and dismemberment.
Yeah.
And they have, when you look up their policy, the individual and like combinations of limbs and appendages you can lose.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they have the values for losing your right hand or a finger on it and a foot or a leg and a finger. And, like, it's pretty crazy to go look at the combinations of things you can lose
Absolutely.
for tens of thousands of dollars.
I wonder if it matters if one is right-handed.
Yeah,
if you
I would
lose your
think.
right hand.
I think it does. I think there's, like, even clauses in there for, like, your dominant side.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
And you know, in the U.S., if you lose your right hand, it's way harder to drive.
Because you got
everything's over here.
Oh, that's right. That's a good point. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate it. I didn't even think about that. But because you can't even put the car in gear then.
You
right.
could. I mean,
You
You
have
it
to
would take much
You
longer.
have to reach over.
Parallel parking would take forever. You need one of those cars that you just press a button and parks itself.
Yeah, and stick shift.
Forget
Forget
about
it.
it.
You can't do that. James, you're talking about losing a big toe. Go ahead.
P1 James, how you guys doing?
Terrific.
James.
You're my favorite P1.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
You do not want to use your big toe. That is, it throws off your balance. You have to wear these special shoes. It just is not a good appendage to lose, your big toe.
Have you lost a big toe?
Yes, a couple of years ago, I got my right big toe amputated, and it wasn't because of the diabetes and everything. I went to the beach and burnt the bottom of my foot, and it got infected. And so they had to remove my big toe, but you don't want to lose your big toe. You take any of those fingers anytime.
Okay. All right.
my,
Any
James.
finger, he says, over a big toe. It's as Dave said, it's the captain of the toes.
It is the captain.
Well, maybe that sways me then.
Yeah.
Maybe I would go pinky.
Thank you, James. I would.
You getting swayed?
I would go.
Well, it's more valuable.
The pinky's more valuable
Yeah, than big
than
toe.
the big toe. Are you sure?
All fingers were high numbers, and I think it's because of that, because it's visible.
I guess that's right. That wouldn't bother me so much.
Losing a pinky finger?
I
You
don't
couldn't
think
play pickleball, could you?
I think you could.
Can you properly caress your woman's face?
No,
With your nubs?
that would be harder, I suppose.
It's
but,
very penguiny.
I mean, if you just lost one, your pinky finger, I think I can still play pickleball.
Yeah.
I think I can still grip a racket. Yeah. Media guy Craig, you're talking about missing different appendages. Go ahead.
Yeah, James Doohan, Scotty from Star Trek, and Pat Hingle, who was Commissioner Gordon for the 80s and 90s Batman movies, they're both missing pinky fingers, but they hide them most of the time.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do that, when they're on screen or whatever. I know that, Dave will get this from MASH. The guy that played Radar O'Reilly had some sort of problem with Gary Berghoff, had some sort of problem
He had
with
an
his hand.
arm that wasn't fully functional.
That's correct. And they hit it on camera.
He almost carried everything in
that's
one
right.
hand.
That's right. Yeah, they do that. Thank you very much, media guy Craig. Appreciate it. Dr. Mack is on the phone to talk about losing limbs. Dr. Mack, go ahead.
Hey guys, good morning. P1 from Durham, just calling in.
Thank you.
Got the day off, so I wanted to set the record straight about the loss of appendages. So the pinky finger, first of all, is malaligned. It's actually critically important for grip. It and the ring finger comprise about 75% of grip strength,
Really?
and without it, yeah, you try to make a grip holding your pinky out, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But you can
Yeah.
more easily do so with your index. But anyhow, so you were talking about P1 James call and said losing the big toe is a big deal, and I couldn't agree more. But there's a procedure we do called a toe-to-thumb transplant. So when you lose the thumb, what you can actually do is take part of or the entire toe and transplant it onto the hand in lieu of sort of as a surrogate for the thumb.
Yes.
And I've done it a couple times, and one guy was so upset, and the reason, and it actually looks reasonably close to the thumb, but he was most upset because when he walked on the beach with his girlfriend, the imprint of his foot on the sand was missing a toe.
My God, what kind of a creature is this? Must have crawled out of the ocean.
I mean, you can imagine as a surgeon, it's about an 8 to 9 hour operation.
Is it really? Yeah. My goodness. Yeah.
You do all that, and it looks cosmetically, reasonably close to a thumb, and he can oppose and hold, and you're feeling pretty good about it. And he's pretty upset because his sand print looks different.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. So the thumb, I know I've always
Can't
heard
wear flip flops.
Right. No, there's no wearing flip flops then. I've always heard the thumb is the one thing you do not want to lose. If you had to lose a finger, which one would you say would be the best if you had to choose?
Index.
Index finger.
Index.
I'm surprised.
I
by
never
that.
would have said that.
No, the index finger, because
You can still do other stuff, I guess, like
yeah,
a flap.
yeah, and you're right about the grip. You can still. I can right now. I'm faking grip. It's better with the index finger gone than with the pinky finger gone. Dr. Mack, you know some stuff.
But you can't point at people.
Thank you. No, you'd have to use your. Thank you very much, Dr. Mack. Now we had a shop teacher, old Mr. Allred, and he was missing his index finger. Scared me to death. The first.
This
day.
wasn't like a PTA initiation ritual at your school, was it?
The first.
All your teachers are missing appendages.
That's true. I didn't think about that. But he had.
Hard times down there.
He was missing his index finger. A shop injury.
All of it?
A tool injury. No, he had just a little nub. And he would, two things he would do. If he pointed with his middle finger. I mean, all the time. And we all used to kind of be, like, laughing at that. And he would always feel things with his nub because it was more sensitive. So he could tell if you had like a splinter on your wood box or a nick in whatever plastic piece you were making. He's
Sensitive.
Really good with that. Yeah, sensitive. Bo, you're talking about the losing a toe. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was telling Biggie he was talking about thinking of purposely dropping something on his toe.
Mm-hmm.
I did the same thing back in high school. I was picking up basketball, and somebody came down and actually broke my toe and smashed it. Looked real horrible.
Oh.
And at the time, I was addicted to painkillers. So I was like, yes, I'm going to get a lot of painkillers at the doctor. Well, the next day when I got up to the doctor, my big toe was fine. Didn't hurt. Looked perfectly fine. I said, I'm not going to get any painkillers. So I took a 10-pound weight off a dumbbell. And I held it from like 5 feet, and I bent my other toes and left my big toe sticking out. First time I dropped it, I moved my foot back because I got scared, and I'm like, no, I got to do this. I need these painkillers. So I dropped the 10-pound weight from like 5 feet, and I mean, it hit the toe, smashed it, blood shot everywhere, toe turned black. I go to the doctor, he's like, yeah, your toe's broke, nothing we can do for it. Go home, take some Tylenol.
That's right.
My God. That is one of the worst things I have ever heard. Bo,
Are you clean now?
Did you get off the pain pills?
I've been sober for 15 years.
Thank God.
Huzzah.
Listen to that story. You should write a book. That's unbelievable. That's what people will do for pain pills. Listen to that.
They don't do anything. They don't give you anything.
For
pain.
toes.
No, I broke my toe in high school, too. I dropped a drum on it.
Hello.
My big toe.
How many toes have I broken since doing this show?
first
You all are
down.
amateurs.
Nothing
Here.
they can do. They just tape it to the one next to it.
Thanks, Bo.
They didn't even tape mine.
They just told you.
No, I went to the emergency room and they squeezed all the gunk out of it. They drilled a hole in the nail.
Jeez. Oh, my God.
Then they worked it back and forth and got all the gunk out. And then I think he might have put gauze around it. He said, go home.
That's it. That's all you can do.
And the nail came off later.
Tremendous pain for a
Yeah,
while,
it
I'm
hurts.
sure.
Oh, and it happened on Friday. My mom wouldn't take me to the hospital.
That sounds like my mother.
She's like, oh, it'll be fine.
Was it a
She said-
5-hour drive?
Thankfully, it was NCAA basketball weekend. So I sat there and watched basketball all weekend. And then went in Monday because it hurt so bad.
Yeah.
The doctor's like, we're open on weekends.
Yeah, you could have
With
come in.
it's the ER.
And that was your big toe.
Yep, my right big toe.
Now, you've broken many toes,
Yep,
Christian.
mostly little ones.
Not your big. You've never broken, because the big is tough.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But they gave you a boot that one time. You did have a boot on.
Right, but that was because I had trouble walking.
That's right. That was the only reason. That's all they could do for
Yeah,
you. There's
I had to
nothing
ask for it, and they charge you.
The whole, yeah. Oh, did they?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They charge you for a boot. Well, your mother wasn't going to pay for a boot, Dave.
No, she wouldn't take the gas and take me to the hospital, much less pay for a boot.
I know.
We didn't have boots back then.